What's up, guys? I'm live again. I always forget there's a lag. So today we're going to be talking about running a successful BJJ Academy, Jiu-Jitsu business. And I'm going to try and get my buddy C. You've probably seen him on my channel a few times. I'll try and get C on the live stream as well. And then you guys can ask him some questions. He just recently opened up his second academy, I think in October. So we can pick his brain. Be kind of cool to get some good feedback from him as far as like how to open up a school, and some of the ins and outs, because I see a lot of people that want to open up a school, their own school one day, but there's a lot of behind the scenes that goes into it. It's not just, hey, I love doing jiu-jitsu, let me just open up a school, which is what it seems like a lot of the times. But a lot of schools go out of business fast. And I didn't make any notes, kind of free flowing on this one. But again, we'll try to get C on here. And you guys can see, you can ask him some questions in the chat. Let's see if he's on here. He's somewhere. But yeah, I see a lot of people that are interested in opening their own schools. I know some black belts out there that, they want to have their own school pretty soon or in the future. And this is a really important topic, how to run a successful business like a BJJ Academy, because I've seen a lot of academies kind of not make it, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. I've seen a lot of schools at every milestone kind of fail. So I don't want to see that happen, especially with my friends. I want them to be successful and to do well. So I'm waiting for C to get into the chat on the Zoom. It'd be cool to have him just to answer some questions on like the process of opening a school. Because I remember maybe 2015, 2016, C was like, man, I really want to have my own school one day. And to see him do that, from scratch, everything from raising the money to building the school to getting the students in the door. And ultimately, if you want a successful school, you need students. You need students coming in the door. You need white belts. I see a lot of schools, I don't know, they're just not run like a business. They're just run as more of a club, which is cool. But it's tough, it's tough to have a school. And so you need to make sure you have the resources to take care of that school. And also Wednesday, I'm going to try and do live stream on Wednesday. And I don't remember the topic. I think it's tips and advice for new students, people starting out in jiu-jitsu. So that one should be kind of cool. My weekly Wednesday night live stream. So if you guys want to tune into that one, we'll have it ready. So let me text C. We'll see how I'm super excited about this topic because I always try and learn about the business side of jiu-jitsu, especially, that's what I do professionally. So you have to understand the business side, especially for competitors out there. You can only make so much money competing, and you can only compete so much, physically, you can't compete every weekend or every month almost. So you have to have, while you're winning these tournaments, you're doing well in these tournaments, you have to have, a means of supporting yourself. There's sponsorships, there's, you can win the tournament. There might be prize money with the tournaments, seminars, private lessons. Those work really well. And then, the next step is to have your own school. So a great example of this is Keenan Cornelius. He, won all these tournaments and then, had the Warm Guard DVD. So he had his products out there and, sponsorships with Hyperfly. And so like the next step usually is opening up your own school. And that's probably when most competitors make the most money. That's where they make their bread. is when they open up their own academy. So, guys like Andre Galvão, the Mendes brothers, Marcelo Garcia, all successful. But I don't believe it was until they, opened up their own academies that they were, probably financially, well off. But, opening up a school is not for everybody. I think that's the takeaway I want you guys to get, is that unless you have years of experience in jiu-jitsu and in business, and this is something that you're passionate about, don't open up a school. Don't do it. It's not going to be a great idea. It's going to be a terrible idea. That's the most important thing I want you guys to take away. Don't do it unless you really love doing this and you're smart about it. So yeah, still waiting on C. C's late. He's on jiu-jitsu time, guys. Probably just got done training. I know I just got done training, so I had to rush back as soon as I could. So yeah, running a successful BJJ academy, man, you need students, guys. You need white belts coming in the door. I've seen a lot of high-level schools where they just cater to competitors, but usually competitors are usually pretty broke. And it's just a small market. It's a small percentage of students. But typically, your kids and beginners, that should be the lifeblood of your school. And then your pet project should be like the competition class, the serious competitor classes. But that's not where you're going to make your money. It should be with the white belts, beginners, kids, and then, build off of that. And that's the big weakness I see with a lot of schools. They don't have a growing kids program. They kind of, it's like an afterthought, like, hey, let's get some blue belts to teach kids class. So that's a knock on them. And then a lot of schools don't have beginners classes. So a new guy coming in their first class, they're in the same class with me and, other black belts. And then they're like, they're floundering, they're just drowning. So that is pretty rough. And I'm starting to, I feel like a lot of schools still kind of on that model, but I mean, they're not on that model. They're not using it. They're not building their kids program, and they don't have beginners program. Man, two easiest classes. Well, kids class pretty rough, but beginners should be easy. You should be packing those classes. And I'm just kind of covering some things off the top of my head. And I'm sure we can ask C a lot of better, more detailed questions. I think the space. I think a lot of school owners start off with, they want this huge, 3,000, 5,000 square foot space on their first school. And then, that's awesome. Looks great, but then there's nobody there to train. So I'm a big believer in starting small, start with a small program, small school. And then when that school's like about the burst at the seams, that's when you move on to the bigger school. But you don't need a big school to start off. I think it's going to hinder you more if you have that big space, because that's a fixed cost, I believe, where you have to make that rent payment every month. And a lot of schools go out of business because of resources. They don't have enough resources to cover that first year or two. And usually the biggest resource is the space. So I did a interview with one of my good friends, Matt Daniel. It's on my YouTube channel somewhere. I'm sure I can link it somewhere, somehow. But we talked about maximizing your mat space, filling that mat space. And so you want to, depending on, if you're full-time or not, you want to have that mat being used all the time with kids classes, beginners classes, no-gi classes, striking classes, whatever else, fitness classes. There should be some class happening on those mats. And you don't want to have too much dead time where, there's no one on the mat. It's just, there's no use for that space. I don't know where C is, guys. He's supposed to be on here. He's probably running late. Okay. He's going to be on here, guys. We'll bug him. So maximizing that mat space, using that mat space. Man, I go to some schools, and like nobody's on the mat. It's just the space is empty. We got Dave Dennis. He says, "When are you opening your school?" No rush on me. I like being able to travel and do tournaments and chill out. I've been the head instructor of some big schools, assistant instructor to some big schools, kids instructor to some big schools, and it's pretty stressful. It seems like it should be pretty easy. Should be easy job, but you have to realize you take on so many roles when you're an instructor. You're like a therapist, you're a parent, disciplinary, you're a physical therapist, psychologist, boyfriend, sometimes too many roles. So for me, maybe, once I, accomplish what I want to do competitively and just, want to settle down a little bit more. But for me right now, I'm chilling. And I much rather help support my friends that do have schools now and learn like what to do and what not to do. And that's why I'm doing this live stream, just to have that knowledge, gain that knowledge now. So I'm prepared. And I mean, if you run a school, it can do really well. It's something you can pass to your children, or, to someone. You could pass that school down to someone else in the future. And it can, I think it is a good business model if you do it right. But I don't believe a lot of jiu-jitsu academies are run properly. You could just see that when they go out of business, or, maybe they're not clean, or, just the little things that really matter. You can kind of see when the school's not being run properly. And yeah, so answer the question, I don't have any plans of opening a school anytime soon. I'm enjoying my life, and I'm going to keep it that way for next 5-10 years. We got Sion. CC. Gallery, immersive. I'm gonna record it to you. Trying to figure this out, guys. Give me 1 second. See you on, buddy. We're gonna wait for C to jump on, guys. So Dave Dennis says it's cool that JT Torres and Lucas Lepre showed you could run a school and compete at a high level. All right, those guys are outliers, man. Those guys are outliers. Lucas Lepre, 6-time world champion. JT Torres, 2-time ADCC champion. Bro, those guys, I don't know, bro, they're not human. You there, C?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but I'm on so this is live, so I'm you can't see it, but there's people who have comments, so I'm talking to them too.
Oh, wow. Okay.
How you doing, man?
I'm great. Sorry, I just got done teaching class and cleaning up and took a shower and jumped on here.
No worries, buddy. I was like, I trained at Iron Horse, which is an hour away, so I had to like run. I was like, I gotta go, guys. Jump in the car.
How was training tonight?
It was good. It was the gi class. That's the only gi class they do, so I had to jump in there. But it was fun. Had to beat up some white belts today.
Great.
Had to work my bolo, crab ride.
That's always fun. To work on like new stuff you learn on lower belts.
Bro, whatever you see in the videos I'm doing, that's what I'm doing on the white belts. Kimuras, Umaplata. All right, see, so we're just talking about running a successful business, BJJ business. So, I mean, you just recently opened up a school. Can you walk us through the process of just like the start? Like, what was the first step you took? See.
So this is the second gym I opened back to back years. And the second time, um, the first thing I had to do was just kind of find a location that I thought it was going to be good. And I think I looked at like, I was on a time crunch on the second time around, but I looked around maybe like 15 buildings in Gainesville. And you're looking at like the space is big enough for the mats. Can you grow into it? Pretty much is a good location. Like rent costs, right? Square
Mhm.
footage, right? So luckily, where I'm at, prices are pretty affordable. If I was more towards like the Atlanta area, then to do by myself would be hard, right? You need money, right? So, but this time I was doing by myself as a solo person going to the business. So, not having someone else help out with financially was more difficult, but I made it work this time.
As far as locations, I have a friend, a mutual friend that's looking to open up his own school. So he's looking at some locations. Like what's the ideal location? Like as far as like, do you want to like a basement area? Do you want like do you want like a corner building or stuff like that kind of?
Yeah, I think at first I think the first time around I thought like having like a storefront like on like a busy like row, like our last one was on like a mini highway. You can see from coming both ways.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was going to be a good prime location, and it was. It helps out with definitely foot traffic, right? But I think a lot of your people who are searching for jujitsu are doing it through Google, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
you're already popping up on Google search, then most likely they're going to stop by and visit your gym. Having a storefront, I think, and maybe like it's such a small data, I had for last year. I think I probably had like maybe 4 sign in that came through the front door because of passing by, maybe 4, like less than 10.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like most of it was from searching on Google. Um, so I think, you pay a little more for the storefront and it does help a little bit, but I think you're having a good marketing, having good uh, appearing on the search list on Google will help the most. And word of mouth is huge.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't worry about so much about storefront. If you don't have like the money to pay rent every month for that, you can do something like off the side, main road, kind of hidden. Right now we're very hidden, but we're like right in the square of Gainesville, but we're like hidden. Like so only people who know the area very well will cut through like these roads to go to like a shortcut,
Mm-hmm.
during traffic and will see us. And even then they probably won't see us. So I think all of our people that came in so far are from Google search. Um, so like there's a school in Atlanta, Gwinnett called Parker, and he's like off the beam path. And I know he does very well. He has like a member base of like 300 plus. You know,
Mm.
so
He's
it's
also
not
been
really,
doing it for a long time too, though.
yeah,
Don't forget
he
that.
has, yeah, he has been. I forgot about that. Yeah, he has been.
About 20
Paul,
years, more than 20.
yeah, and Paul's a great guy. So him being a great guy and kind of doing good marketing kind of helps a lot.
How important is the social media? See.
I think it's really important. I'm not big on social media. I have a girlfriend help me with that, and some students help me with that because, like Alec, like we get done training,
Hmm.
and we don't want to like that's last thing we want to do is like take a group picture, or when I'm teaching, I'm like I don't really remember to like get my phone out and like record on like Instagram, right? That's stories because I'm helping out the students. And I'm like kind of tired, so I'm not really thinking about that.
I trained myself to like, oh, they're doing something. I was doing that today.
I know. I'm not the best angle, so I don't know the angle to hit, but I'm learning as I'm watching the students do it and watching my girlfriend do it. So, but yeah, Instagram and doing like constant videos is really good. So you have to be consistent though. That's the thing. You can't go like for a good month and then stop and then kind of like lose your content and people like stop watching.
It's so addictive. I tell people to, business owners to do like a little story. Man, just you got a little break, people drilling and stuff. Just get your phone and then like, because
Yeah,
people, they're gonna look at the story to see themselves,
right.
so you can tag them and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I
And
think that's the
like
easy
your
way
iPhone,
to.
like have like a recent iPhone so you get good videos.
Bro, my stuff is like jacked up. I like dropped my phone. Can you guys see that? I can barely use my phone. I still make videos. No excuses. See.
I'm getting a new phone out. You can have my old iPhone. It's iPhone 12 or 11 or something. So it works really well. It's
The
perfect.
thing is, it's just put something out there. I think even if it's ugly, I mean, obviously you want to make it look cool, but like just put something out there.
Hmm. Yeah, just
Uh, go ahead. See,
do something. Put something out there. Move technique, or just people rolling. So.
or yourself rolling. I think that's kind of easy because you can study your video and then like it looks cool,
Hmm.
or your students rolling.
Yeah.
One of the guys on the chat, he said, it's cool that JT Torres and Lucas Lepre showed you can run a school and compete at a high level. But I was like, these guys are outliers. But how do you feel on that topic, C?
I think I think like yeah, they're definitely outliers. It's definitely hard. Like with them, right? If JT Torres, Lucas open a school, you're gonna have guys that are already established move to the area and train with them, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
they move from a different team to train with them. So like them guys that have like already good, training partners. Like someone like me, or someone that's open just a gym, and you're gonna have mostly white belts that are you know join your gym, right? You might have someone that's like moving to area that's already like established, that's like good, and they happen to move to your area and that might train with you, and like if you have that, then great, like it helps you. But for me, last year it was just all white belts, all white belts. So I try to make the best of it, and you have to like think positive and work with what you have. And you have to like, for me, I knew I wanted to compete every month, just kind of like stay on top of it and try to like do well as possible, and then while I'm doing that over that year, build my students up to a point where they can kind of push me and I can get the right training partners, so yeah, so like rarely you would have guys that are like really good come and train with you unless you're like one like 6 world champions, so like a great one is like Cabrini. He opened in LA. A lot of students that are like purple belt, brown belts move to him and train with him, So it always helps.
And also, these guys you like they don't know the background, but they just see, oh, JT Torres opened a school. You don't know how much backing JT had. Maybe somebody gave him some money or something, and like
Hmm.
it's gonna be easy if if I gave you $100,000. Oh, okay, like
Yeah,
super
yeah.
easy. And you're
Yeah.
a big name, and people move to you. It's a lot easier than like a regular black belt,
Hmm. But
non-world champion black belt, which is most people.
like at first last year I was like, oh, I wish like maybe like a high level purple that will come train. I'm like happen to move in the area, but I realized that dealing with my own guys and build from the top up and have to win like pens or worlds feels really great. Like it's better to build you guys up, and it's for me at least. So like now I have guys, a guy named Tyler, is my coach here. Now he's a blue belt. He pushes me. He's a pretty tough guy. And then you'll see him compete next year. So he'll do really, really well. We have a couple of guys like Kenny Ray's coming up and a bunch of other guys. So
Oh,
yes.
my screen off. You got Gator.
Oh,
Gator.
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 He's an older gentleman, intense, good guy, great training partner. So you'll see him in masters and stuff. So next year competing.
What are some other tips for someone looking to open up a school?
Yeah, I think two things. Either you want to do by yourself.
See,
A
tell
partner
us a
is
little bit about that. See, let's go into some detail about that. Not
so
personally, but just like,
having a partner is a good thing. Um, you know, having someone that as a good friend, that you trust is good. But also, like you guys are gonna bump heads. So compromising is really important. You have to take and give. Um, and you have to be able to communicate very well to each other. Um, I think that's important. So you need to figure out if you want to do it by yourself or have a partner. So if you're gonna do it by yourself, make sure you have enough money where you can do it, right? So maybe work maybe 5, 4 years and save up. I think like to open a good school, like it would take you about $60,000, I think, to get started and
Ooh,
open. Yeah. And even with that, like
that probably goes fast.
it goes fast. Yeah. And you're like, oh, and then you work in. Yeah. So make sure you have like at least 3 months where you can build a gym. The money does go by really fast. So really pay attention to what you're spending on. Um,
What should they be spending their money towards? See.
I think for me, um, having a good mat, material mat, like zebras and dominers, don't short yourself on the mats, because it's aesthetic, right? People come in and they want to see a nice mat to train on. I think mats, benches that can be expensive,
Oh, really?
yeah, like customized benches.
Custom. You can't just put a church pew in there. See. Put
Yeah,
it some
yeah.
maybe some what's the furniture? Outdoor furniture?
Oh, patio
Yeah,
furniture.
patio
Oh,
furniture.
guys, 2 benches, like, like the money spends goes by fast. So like make a list of what you think you might need and what you really need, and budget on that, and and move on from now. Just finding like location, having so yeah, so well, back to what I was saying, uh, by yourself or having a partner, right? So make sure that your partner, is a really good friend or someone you really trust. Make sure you guys sign contracts, right? Um, Especially, like even though you come in as business, you think you two will do it for a long time,
Hmm.
but make sure you have a contract. And if the split happens, there's a procedure you go through, what is what, what you get and what your partner gets, that way it's a clean split. So that way when you leave, you're not upset that you felt like you deserve more.
I feel like you should have a clause. Just hindsight, have a clause like, hey, say I don't want to run this business anymore, where it's clear how they can buy you out and stuff, just
Yeah,
to make it easy.
exactly. Yeah. But I think try to do by yourself if possible is the best thing to do, you know. So I
Sick.
know I know I know it costs a lot of upfront capital, but
Hmm.
work, if that's the case, work, take another 2, 3 years off and focus on jujitsu and work and save money up. So at the end that you can do by yourself.
What if they don't have the 60K? See, like, what are some other alternatives they can do?
Yeah. Um I
Seems
mean,
like nope, don't
you
do it.
or you have a you or you take a small business loan. Right?
Mm,
Take a small business loan, have someone co-sign with you if you don't, like, usually the bank's going to ask you for all this stubs and taxes and stuff that you have for your previous business, but most likely you probably won't have a previous business. So have someone co-sign you, or someone have to back you, but you own everything and they're just a silent investor, and then you pay them off. They get a certain percentage up to a certain years, and then by that time you pay them off, and then they walk away with, they made money on top of what they put in, and they get the money back. You know, there's, there's always someone that will invest in you. You just have to, you know, look around and see what your options are. But this is what a lot of gyms, professors or people don't tell you when you first train. I know when you first train, like, oh, like you don't think about, you're not thinking like 6 years, 7 years in advance. Like, oh, one day like you're gonna open your own gym. It's kind of you training, and then one day like, oh, like 6 years from now, it's like, oh, I want to open my own gym. And look
mm-hmm.
back and, oh, what have I been doing the last 6 years? I've been working, especially for the competitors, right? This is more of like for the competitors, like, oh, 6 years I've been competing for the team. I've been traveling and I don't have any money left. Like, I don't have any money that I've been saving up,
Mm-hmm.
It's something like you want to do, like open a gym, you foresee yourself in like 6 years, start saving now, start saving like $1,000 a month, $500 a month, like you can, anyone can save $1,000 a month. It's easy. And then 6 years from now, that's 60 grand,
Mm.
like a little bit more than 60, right? And then you can open your own gym. I wish someone would have told me that. I trained for like 12 years and I'm like, oh, I want to open a gym. I could have saved like $1,000 each year. I could
I
have
could have, yeah.
open like a hundred, like in like a really nice gym for like 100,000, you know.
Hmm.
But I think that's something really important for the guys who, for the competitors. You know, you guys need to think ahead about your future because at one point you're gonna train, and then that's all you know, and then now you're like, oh, like you might you might have someone investing you for a gym. What if you don't have that and you want to open a gym? Like you don't have the money and then you have to go find a job, like a corporate job. And but you had
Hmm.
no experience because you've been focused on jujitsu for, however long you've been doing it. So like that's really important to think about.
What are some other things you don't see jiu-jitsu academies doing? So this is more a broad topic.
Yeah.
Like, what are some of the bad business practices that you see jiu-jitsu academies doing?
Um Man, that's huh? Politics. She said my girl
Politics?
behind me.
Yeah.
She's like politics, right? That's a great one. Like like not promoting people based on politics,
Mm.
we've seen that a lot. And be having favorites, you know, like the coaches have their favorite guys. Sometimes the coaches don't hear about other people saying things about not bad things about the coaches, but like, oh, like this this professor favors this guys, and I feel like I'm not getting promoted, and or blah blah blah, and that may not be the reason at all, but
Hmm.
that's how the student sees it. That's their perspective, and then the coach is not addressing that. Um, I think I think another thing is like and this is just me, like I know at the end of the day the gym is a business, but you have people who do jujitsu and like they get hurt and then they can't freeze membership, and
Mm.
it keeps charging them. Like I feel like, yeah, like I try to be understand. I do, for me, I do pause my students' membership, you know, um, and help them out any way I can. Or maybe like they don't want to train anymore, but they have like 6 months left on contract. And it's
Hmm.
like, oh, it's not for me. And people like, oh, too bad you signed like a year contract, you have 6 months left, you know. And for me, I just feel like I wouldn't want to be treated that way. So I just cancel membership, and let them go, And but because eventually they do want to come back and train, they'll come back and train, Or maybe they want to go to a different gym and train, but they're stuck in your contract. They're like, hey, I want to train with this professor. And you have to be a coach, have to be understand, like if you really care about the student, you let them go train. And you just say, hey, like I love having you, Alec. And I know the other team is best for you for now. So, go ahead and go train with them, Alec. But, like once in a while, please come back, and help us train doing camps and stuff,
Mm.
you know, and like that, So like, I know that happens and the coach is like, oh, like, forget this guy,
Hmm.
and they like don't want to talk to that person anymore, Like I think that's the wrong way to go because they're your student and they're your friend at the end of the day, just because the money or ego, like they want to go train with someone else, As you want to when you're teaching someone, you want the best for them, even though they want to go train with someone else that they think that will help them on the next level. You should be happy for them. Like you help them to a certain step, and then you can't really help them anymore. So like you have to like let them go.
Hmm.
So that's how I feel. But a lot of gyms are different, and so I think from what I've seen, I think those are like the ones that kind of hit me and like kind of I see differently.
So let's talk a little bit about contracts. I feel like a lot of schools are kind of like they don't know what they're doing as far as contracts.
Mhm.
Uh, how do you feel about contracts? See, like should schools have them or should they just be month to month or?
I think schools should have contracts. Great example. Last academy I did, we didn't have contracts. It was month to month,
Mm.
But I realized that like I work really hard getting people to sign up, and then they quit. Like they quit like in the middle of the month. Like they train for like a month or two, and like they quit, And then I got to rebuild that lost member. And at the end of that, I need to pay my bills too, the rent and the gym. So, having contracts is really important. Um, so what we do now is I do month to month, and I do 4 month and then a year commitment. So obviously you go higher up, it's a little cheaper. And those contract would kind of like give you a forecast of how much money you should make per month in the foreseeable future, you know? And
Hmm.
okay, 4 months is how many people are about to renew the contract, you know? You can kind of estimate how many you would keep and how many you would lose. So you can work up to replace those numbers. So I think that having a contract is really important. Um, but again, like if they get hurt and want to move, then just let them off the contract, you know? Because at the end of the day, if they're still on a contract and they want to go train someone else and you keep them, they're if they don't want to pay, they're not going to pay, right, Alec? You know, like, right, you know, and then like you know, like so it's like then now you have someone call them, have them to pay for the remaining membership. You know, there's no point in doing that. And what I found out is like they usually come back. Like if a member is like quits and like it's not for them, either to come back like 6 months later or they recommend someone to come back to you to train, like, oh, I trained at C and another really good team, but it just wasn't for me.
Hmm.
But if that person was like, it wasn't for me, I tried to get out and they didn't want me to get out, and they're like, oh,
They didn't let me
I
out.
don't, I don't want to, I don't know, you can try, but then that person, his friend might go down the road and try a different gym and not give you a try. So it has this double blade, right? I just prefer on the easier side and just the nicer side. That's
To
just
add
me.
on to this, see, how do you feel about having your prices easily accessible, like on your website? Do you feel like that's good, or you rather the person come in and
Yeah, I think having a website, um, I prefer having to come in and check out the facility, the gym, the layout, and then they can kind of make their best. They can make their assessment on how much they're like comfortable paying. Because you
Mhm.
have a price that's, imagine someone's never done jujitsu, and they see your price $200 a month. They're like, I don't want to like $200 a month for jujitsu. I don't even know what jujitsu is about. They want to pay $200 a month. Like that's just a big turnoff, for someone because they don't know. But once they come in and they do like a week trial and they kind of meet everybody, like,
Mhm.
okay, I can justify $200 a month, like being here. It's a nice facility. They, you know, for $200 it's worth it. Um,
I'm asking you because people on Reddit, Reddit, I don't know what Reddit's its own world, RBJJ, and they're like, if I don't go to a school if they don't put the prices up. I mean, I understand both ways. But on your website, you have like free trial or free week on there and stuff.
yeah, free week.
Okay, yeah. Right.
Yeah. So they just come in anyways to try out, you know. You know, you, they usually, honestly, like I don't have people complain about prices, you know. I, I don't haven't I've really had anyone mention about being
I
paid.
mean, there's not that much jiu-jitsu up in Gainesville. Like, hey, you pay or you leave, man.
I remember when I first started, like I started, at a small gym, and they were like $100 a month. I'm like, man, $100 a month is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But once you do it, you're like, okay, like I see why it's 100. And then I went to Alliance, and they're like 100, like 160. I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to pay the $60 difference. But once I went there and I did a couple classes, I understood why it's a big difference. So
I think
you,
I was on like a 5-year contract or something over there.
uh,
I don't know what kind of contract I was on. I might still be on that contract for all I know.
so yeah,
uh, kids program. See, how important is kids program to having a successful business, jiu-jitsu business?
I think having a good kids program is really important. It's where you're going to be making most of your money from, is from the kids program. So definitely having a well-structured class, having given structure that requires a good kids program. Um, it's really important to have a kids program. It kind of keeps your school alive. Definitely, and marketing and catering to the kids is important. Having the right staff on hand to handle the kids. I know, like opening a gym first, you like you're by yourself against
Mm-hmm.
an army of kids.
It's just you and like 50 kids. Ah!
Yeah, so you want to pay. I know students want to offer me to like help out for the kids program, and I just feel so bad. Like I want to be able to pay them.
Mm-hmm.
And Like it may be like that for a little bit, like where they help out, and then you can start paying them and have them on your staff, because like you need really like one adult for every 4 kids, 5 kids, because you're doing something and you turn around, the 2 kids are playing behind you, like what are you doing, But so having a good staff amount of coaches on the mats is good for the kids program, and it helps grow the kids program much faster.
As far as your curriculum, like how do you have the kids classes structured? Are you like all technique or?
Yeah, so we break our kids up from 4 to 8 because we feel like 4 to 8 is a short attention span. So we short that class to 45 minutes. And so for the kids class, I set up like a big obstacle for the kids for the first 15 minutes warm up, kind of break them down, like get them warm up, get them a little tired. And then we go spend so that's 15 minutes warm up. We spend about 10 minutes on technique, just so one technique.
Mm-hmm.
And then we spend so that's 25 minutes. And we spent 10 to 15 minutes on techniques, 10 minutes on techniques, and then maybe like 5, 6 minutes on rolling. And then the remainder, like a quick game for the kids. And they really always enjoy the game. But for the kids, it's just a basic cross collar choke from the mount, a basic rear naked choke from the back, and arm bar from mount, and just have them really good at those hand nose position. And for the older kids, 9 to 15, we do more like we do like a normal like a adult warm up session, and then we'll go down to like techniques, and then we'll have them drill, and then we'll have them sprawl like specific training or something for the remaining class. And their class are an hour long, so that's how I kind of do my classes. So yeah, so small kids, more games, more like game drills, and the older kids we do more like treat like an adult class.
I know one thing we used to get a lot of referrals from occupational therapists because they deal with like kids with developmental stuff, and pretty much all they did was like the jiu-jitsu kids warm up. That was so they're like, oh, we'll pay you. It was cheaper to do jiu-jitsu for the kids than to go to the therapist because they're just moving around. Let's see, beginners classes. How important? Man, I go to some schools, they don't have a beginners program. See, what do you think about that?
I think having the beginners program is really important, right? Because like you have a group of guys that you've been training for a while, and then you have beginners coming in. Like you're showing like,
all right, Byron Bolo, guys, let's go, white belts.
Right? And they're like, oh, and then like you're like, you have to slow that class down, and like you have
Mm-hmm.
to like mix up now, and then like you're just like throwing off, of what like you're trying to teach. So having separating the fundamentals people is really important. Right now, we're keeping them together. So once the school grows more and we generate more income, I'll start having Coach Tyler switch back and forth. So he'll teach the intermediate and I'll teach fundamentals, and we'll go back and forth like each day. So that way the students are getting like different teaching from different teachers' perspective. So that way we'll have them like, we have 2 mat areas. So for the fundamentals and then for the intermediate to advanced. Then we'll train, but then we'll like teach them, and then we're in it on the same time. And then we'll gather them and have them train together, explore, that's why I want to do it, ideally here. So I think I'll be able to do that in about the next 2 months.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's
So
why I got you on here. See, man, you just keep growing.
yeah.
Here's a great question I've talked to other instructors about, and I don't have an answer for anybody. How to get more girls into jiu-jitsu? See, how can we get more girls training?
I think having a women's program is really important. Uh, like you may not have the resource to do that as far as the mat space and time slots, especially a small gym. And then you're like, oh, I want to do the women's class. It's so hard to fit that women's class in, like in your prime time and starting, right? So it's really
Mm-hmm.
tough. Here we have enough mat space to do it. So
Do you have a woman's teach? Like there's not. I mean, there's some high level girls out there, but
ideally, Yeah, so I think having a man or a woman instructor, I don't think that really matters. I think most girls don't want to train with girls. You know what I mean? So maybe,
C said that. I didn't say that, guys. I didn't say that. C said that. Go after C, guys.
but and then once the girls get comfortable with training, and they're like, okay, and then they can see themselves train with other guys. That's fine. Or sometimes like you don't have a women's program, and the women's are trained with the men, and then just get used to it.
Hmm.
But ideally, when a woman comes in, they feel more comfortable training with other ladies. Um, but
I asked because, like, I mean, I've trained it with a few schools of girls, but like never like a ton of girls,
mhm.
It's usually just all dudes.
I think Andre Galvan has a really good women's program. I heard,
He's
or
also, his wife is a high level black belt
yeah,
competitor. I think that helps a little bit.
that's help. But yeah, I mean, like it's hard to have a women's program, all women's program, because your time slot. It's just because your time slot and your mat space. You know.
Some other factors, I was talking to one of my friends, some of the guys be attacking the girls. They're like, they see a girl in the gi, they're like, it's too
Yeah.
hungry,
So like,
thirsty.
if you want to build a women's program too, you have to be very attentive, like uh aware of like who you pair the girls up with,
Hmm.
because like they're like they can get hurt, and that can be a turn off, and they want to train. You know. Uh,
I'm saying more so like the guys hitting on the girl. See,
oh,
that's
oh,
what I meant. That's what they're like. They're literally.
yeah, yeah. I don't know about that. I just tell guys, don't do in the gym. You can talk to girls outside the gym. So yeah, I don't
I
know.
don't have.
Nothing you could do as a coach about that. Like they're growing up to you know to date. So
We got to figure that one out, guys. We'll figure it out.
just guys, just be respectful, man. Like the girls are training, let them train. Just if they want, if they're like interested in you, they'll probably talk to you, and you guys can talk. But just don't be trying to hit on them on the mats. So
But oftentimes the instructor is the worst offender. The instructor be doing more. Yeah, the instructor doing all the.
I don't know. So it happens. So
Here's a go and see. I didn't make any notes for this. I'm just
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
going off my head. How important is cleanliness in having a successful BJJ academy?
Oh, I think that's really important. Like I'm really clean. I'm a really clean person. OCD. I clean my mats like every day, like between classes. Um, I'm like clean the gym. Like before I leave, I spend like an hour at the gym cleaning up, making sure like people pick up the tape, and you know, yeah, just having clean gym is important because like I think for me, when I go to a gym, the first thing I look at is the mats, right? When I go to
Mm,
restaurants, the first thing what we do, we go to the bathroom and we look at the bathrooms. And sure the bathrooms are clean. We know the kitchen in the back it should be pretty clean.
mm.
So it's the same thing, right? We look at the mats, between the mats. When people are when you go to a gym, you're especially like think about this from a customer standpoint. You go to a gym, you train before, and you go to someone's gym and you sit down and you're waiting for class to start and you don't know anybody and you're just looking around. When you look around, you know it's like just a dust corner,
Those hairs on the mat.
hair in the mat, the nails, the broken fingernails like between the mats that they don't clean. Stuff laying on the ground, just dust on it. It's just
Some blood stains. You're like, oh,
if you don't mind that, then that's okay. But for me, like like the first thing I think is like, oh, did they clean the mats properly? I'm gonna catch staff, and like it's just not a pleasant thing to think about. So our gym is like super clean. You come to our gym, it's just like it's always clean. So having a clean gym definitely helps on some definitely helps bring members in because they come to the gym like, oh, it's nice, it's clean, it's modern, it's always it's just super clean. They just enjoy that. It's nice. It's it's a nice clean gym that feel more relaxed. You know, so I think having clean gym definitely helps.
I mean, some of these schools, they got some stuff running around those mats. You ringworm, you feel the ringworm, it jump off the mat and jump on you.
Yeah, like I've been to a couple of gyms, like that, not in Atlanta, but when I'm traveling, So guys, make sure your gyms are clean. Take
You're
the
like,
time. Like this is a great example of and for the instructors who are watching, keep this in mind. You know, gyms have like the long mop pads. They kind of yeah, they're kind of like well, this is how we like. So they kind of like sweep up the hair and the on the mats
Mm-hmm.
and kind of either back it up, you know, and then they put that mop back in the closet, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that mop head that you use it the whole week.
Mm.
Like, you have think about a whole week. You have a busy gym. You have like 6 classes a day, and you're sweep the mat 6 times a day. That's and you open six days a week. That's 36 times you're using that broom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't even change the head, and then you use it for next week, and next week, and then like a month later you want to change it. Like all that hair has been like bundled up in the
Mm.
closet, and and not only like so I know gyms you mop, you sweep up and you vacuum up, and then you don't clean the mats because like you're about to have class, right? Or something, you know? So you just like put all that germ and
Just spreading the germ around.
even though you clean the mats up, you just left all that germs that you can't see on the mat. So what we do here is like we have disposable mop pads. So every mop pad that I sweep up and vacuum up, I rip off and throw in the laundry basket. So at the end of the week, I have like almost like 80 mop pads that I just sweep alone.
Mm.
And then I have all the mop pads to spread the mats down and wipe it down with the pads. So like
What
guys,
kind of a cleaning solution are you using?
I use Simple Green,
Simple Green.
and then I use ibuprofen or ibuprofen or alcohol, right? I get like the 99% alcohol.
Oh,
Like,
dang.
yeah, so that's once a week though. So we clean mats, and then like on a Saturday, once everybody get out in the gym, I'll add the alcohol and water, and then first I'll do like a Simple Green solution, clean it, and then I'll go back over again with the ibuprofen and clean the whole mats. That way, it's just like it smells bad. It smells like really strong, but no one's in the gym, so it's ready for next week.
Here's something I notice even at some of the old schools, like you train and it gets sweaty, and then a new person walks in and they get hit with that smell. It's just like, ugh, it stinks.
Yes.
What can schools do to deal with that smell that hits them, that funk, jujitsu funk?
Yeah. It's got scented plugins.
Mm.
They can get expensive. Like, they get expensive, but if you want your gym to smell nice, you just pay extra money. Um, Good ventilation. I know a lot ventilation is like a really big cost thing to have, especially when you don't have open gym. Like, oh, last thing is like you think about is uh, ventilation. A best alternative to that is you can buy these purifiers. They're like really big. They're probably like 3 feet high, like 3 feet wide, 4 feet wide, and you plug it in, and it's just big fan that just runs pretty loud, and it sucks up all like the odor. So you want to
Mm.
run those after class. You plug them in, run them overnight, and it's so secure like any airborne fungus, and it gets rid of mildew. So like you
Hmm.
train really hard, the whole gym gets like um what do you call that? It's moistures in the walls.
Fungus or whatever.
Yeah, the
Mold.
not mold, but like when you train hard, the when it gets
Oh,
foggy,
foggy. Yeah.
moistures. So you want to have those around, right? So when you clean the gym up, plug the machine in, and it sucks all that into the filter. It works really well. And you change the filter every like couple of weeks. Um, so we have to re-rent them. When we first put the gym, we had like a lot of dust coming in from like the ceiling because we were cleaning, and we had like 4 of those machines running, and they work really well. But they're about $1,000 each. It's not a bad investment. So you buy 2 of those machines, plug them in, and
Mm.
it works wonders. And you don't get that smell that you're talking about.
I want to go a little bit more back to like super business side. As far as paying instructors, like say you bring on like a full-time instructor, or do you think you're going to pay them per class, or you're going to give them a salary? And then for an assistant instructor, would you do something similar, like pay per class or pay salary?
Yeah. I think um, for me, I approach it more towards the salary side for a full-time instructor. Uh,
Mm.
just because they're full time and they're gonna be my right hand man, helping out with everything. Because they need to survive too. They need to be able to train and make money doing jujitsu. So I think having a salary is really important. For the assistant coach, um, I you know uh, I plan to pay him by class. You know, um, I pay them pretty well actually, um, because like
They get paid. They get paid.
okay, yeah, guys, like like, I the reason I pay because I know what it feels like. I've been on that end, and I know like how much time, I know how much energy and time it takes, right, to teach and to put time into someone else.
Mhm.
And I know like when you pay someone, you know, they feel more value. Um, right now, I'm only able to pay one coach, but I think in like 2 months I can start paying the other assistant coach something, to help out. Right now I only have one assistant coach, you know, um, so eventually I will pay him. So, but yeah, I mean, try to pay your coach, your assistant coaches, guys. Because like they want to help you out, they want to be part of the team, so don't take advantage of that, like show them that you're grateful for that, and even though it's not much, it's something. If you can't pay them, buy them a nice gift once in a while to show your appreciation, because they're teaching for you. But when you make money, don't forget about them, because they're the one that help you build the program.
It's all mine. I did it all myself.
Like that, yeah.
All right. See, here's a good one. How many classes does your academy run per day or per week? Per day, and then what does that look per week?
um, per day.
Like for let's make it simple for a
Five.
new school. For a new school starting out, how many classes per day and per week do you think they should have?
Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, so really fast, if you open a new school and it's your first school and open, and you need to figure out if you want to do it full time or part time. I
Mm,
think don't be afraid to do it full time. Like don't save money so you can do full time. Don't have the mentality like, oh, I'm gonna do part time so that I can keep the gym afloat. You can't split your time into two. Like you can, but you're not going to be able to put all the energy as you would if you do it full time. You will grow your gym much faster, I think, if you do it full time. You might suffer for about like 6 months to a year, but the school will build up, and then you're like, oh, I'm glad that I didn't do it part time.
mm.
Yeah, because you do part time now. Going back to part time, like let's say you by yourself part time, it means you can only open when you're off work. So like 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock at night, like, but you lose a lot of members that could have done 12 o'clock class or 6 a.m. class, and so I think having having multiple times for a gym when you first open is really important.
Mm.
So that way you offer classes to everybody. At first, your time would be spread out really thin. You have like two guys at 6 a.m. You're like, oh my God, I had to get up for these two guys. But there's two guys who turn to four guys, six guys, 10. And then your noon class, you're like, okay, I only have like three people, but that noon class would grow into like 10, 12, 15, 20 people, and then your night classes grow even bigger because you're going to be there all day. And then that's when you start seeing the the hard work that you put in, and it's going to pay you dividends at the end. So, but if you do part time, your program grows really small, and you lose a lot of members that would have done it. Would join your gym if you had those times.
I know
So,
a lot of people they're having trouble filling that 12 noon class because I guess usually you have to have a job that allows you that break time.
right, yeah, yeah,
But I feel like 6 a.m. If you do it right, that should be pretty bumping, right? Pretty,
yeah.
that class.
So Sam, the key is being consistent. Like Leo told me, and Leo told me, and I already knew, but him telling me was like a reinforcement. Like, okay, he's right, and I need to be consistent because you're gonna have like one guy. 2 guys, then 3. And then those 3 guys are like, uh, I have something going on in the morning. I'm too tired. And then the other 2 guys are like, oh, well, this guy said he's not coming in, so we're not coming in. And you're like by yourself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, but then like sometimes you show up and you're like by yourself, right? But you have to be persistent, because when the students see you're persistent, they're like, okay, well, coach is here, I gotta be there. And then it grows. And next thing you know, like 6 months on a row, a year on a row, you have like from 3 guys to like 12, 15 guys, you know? Great example, HQ, Atlanta HQ, Alliance HQ has like 20, 30 people on the mat at 7 a.m. And that's big. That's huge, you know? So just, and that program took a while to grow.
Yeah,
So
it was 10 years, maybe longer.
yeah. And if you guys want to start like a 6 a.m. class, 7 class, and you're a new gym, you do by text. So people text you the night before, and
Mm.
when they
Oh, that's
text
a good
you,
idea.
yeah, they're committed, right? So if you show up and they don't show up, you as a coach can have a talk to them like, hey, like you say you're gonna be here, you need to be committed, because I'm committed to you to help you out, you know. And so yeah, text works well. And then that way you always know that you're waking up and there's someone else to teach.
Another question for you, see, generating new students. So you talked a little bit about word of mouth. Uh, what are some other ways to generate some new students, so you don't end up being, one instructor with 2 guys in class? Like, how do you grow?
You could do like one way works really well is a friend referral. Friends sign up, you know, you he the guy who refer him can get kickback of like $100 gift card or $100 cash or $100 in-house credit, right? Because that student's pays for that, pretty much what you give him to his friend. You can do that way. You can do a week trial.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you can do marketing, like found like a busy work with like the community, you know, get people in. You'd be surprised how many people want to do jujitsu in the community, um, just by like handing out flyers or uh, going to the local schools to work with them. Um, Finding a great guy, a great team to do your marketing, pay the extra money. Rick James is a good guy to go to. Uh, he he works with me last gym, and now with him I bought quite good members with him, so check him out. um, I'll have his profile link in below. Yeah, I think, yeah, just working just with communities, work just local schools, friend referral, and just word of mouth. Like kind of like every day at the class, hey guys, bring someone in, bring a friend in, family in. Just keep saying that, because you say it once, you feel like you're the guys, but
Yeah, it
honestly,
just goes out their ear.
yeah. So you just repeat, and next thing you know, like like they're hanging out with friends. Oh, you should try jujitsu, like blah blah blah. And word of mouth is so powerful. Like it works really well. I think like most of our members, 60% Google and 40% word of mouth.
Mm.
Yeah.
Have you noticed anything from the other social media, like Instagram, YouTube, or anything? People coming in that way?
Um, that's I get people saying like, oh, they saw us on social media, you know, um, but but mostly from Google. This is where we're getting our stuff from.
And are you spending money on that per month and stuff?
Mhm. Yeah, spending money. Spend as right now probably like 300 a month, which is
Uh,
which is not a lot, right? I know other schools spending like in the thousands, maybe like
per
800,
month?
1,000 a month. Yeah,
Jesus. Well, I'm definitely making that back.
yeah, you make that back. You make that back pretty quick. You just put the upfront money up front for us, and you'd be okay. At first, it seems like you have the mentality, oh, I'll wait until I make money to do it. Just just do what you can, put in what you can.
Like, that kind of goes back to social media. Like, it's free to post on Instagram. You got your phone bill and whatever, but you can post on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Reddit. If you want to go through Reddit, you can post on there.
Yeah,
What are some?
You think Reddit works well?
You gotta have thick skin. So,
Yeah,
they might roast you on Reddit.
I've seen people get roasted.
But just for me, it's a good place to just kind of study, if I want to, especially if I'm doing research on a topic like, hey, how to open a jiu-jitsu business. I always go to Reddit to kind of see what people are talking about. What are
there's this
some things?
there's
Go
this
ahead.
Facebook group, which is like all like the big names schools that have around the world. Like the head instructors are in this Facebook chat.
Mm,
And I think like I'm in that group. I forgot what it's called, but I just put a question out and then it gets answer from like 10 different people from different locations, how they do things, you know?
mhm.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So check that out.
That's also, I mean, location is so important. How you run your business is going to be different than someone in California or Florida or New York. Um, how do you feel? How do you deal with say there's a school that opens up near you?
Yeah.
Random jujitsu guy. He's like, hey, I'm gonna open up my own jujitsu program. Like, how do you think that would impact UC?
I think it kind of hurts the pie in the area.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I think, like for me, I'm actually happy that he opened the school down the street because like
Oh,
with
that guy in my example.
yeah. Because
Okay.
like at one point we all wanted to have our own academy, right? Imagine when I first opened, like I remember it's not long too long ago, but when I opened a gym, like my own gym, like oh, it's so exciting. That feeling, I know what it feels like. I want that guy to have the same feeling, right? And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
there's enough people in the community to go for the pie to go around, you know. Um, so yeah, man, like if he opens, like I'm not too worried about it. I think we have to like focus on staying in our own lane and focus on us. Like we shouldn't be focused on other people, other schools in the area. You know, they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. You know, like yes, like good luck to them. Like hope they do well. You know, but if they do well, it should be happy for them. You know, like why would you want to hate on that person? They do well. They did because they deserve to do well because they're doing something right. They're working hard. And you just gotta focus on your own schooling and on yourself. So I mean, at the end of the day, people that do jujitsu they're gonna look for certain things, like this academy better because of the instructor or the atmosphere, you know what I mean? So they're gonna gravitate towards different gyms based on their personality. So it's enough for everybody, you know.
Here's another one I just kind of thought about. I feel like a lot of the most successful schools, either they're more traditional, like they only do self defense, they don't roll,
Mhm.
or they give belts away. They give belts like you get a stripe, you get a belt. They're always doing like
Yeah, yeah. For me, if my students deserve a stripe, they deserve a stripe. They deserve a belt. They deserve a belt. Like tomorrow, we're doing belt promotion. So tomorrow we're having belt promotions. I'm promoting a group of guys. And you know, like before the promotions, and we'll know that if you guys didn't get your belts today, it's not because you didn't deserve it. You guys all deserve a belt, but I'm just have you guys on different.
they didn't deserve it, you can earn it yet. You got to be
Like,
nice. See,
so just keep working that towards it and just stay positive, like you shouldn't be doing jujitsu for a belt color, you should do it because you love it and you want to get better. The belts
I'm,
come later.
I'm on Reddit. That's what they're saying on Reddit. See, they're like, I should get this belt. I paid for this belt.
Well, yeah,
Just
if you
go check
want,
it out. See, go check out Reddit.
oh really? So yeah, so if you want, yeah, I mean, if you deserve a belt, you deserve it, right? And yeah, so there's I guess different instructors have different views on that. So, but if your instructor wants to give belts out, instructs out, that's his school and that's his business and that's his opinion. And I think the students know if they feel like they are like fitted for that belt, or they feel
No,
like
some of these guys see they're like, I've been training. I've never done any submissions or anything, but I deserve this blue belt.
yeah.
It's wild on Reddit, bro.
Oh man, I don't read forums. I don't read the news so much, so
I mean, because I see some things on there, I'm like, man, that doesn't really make any sense. But then like you see like people commenting on it, so I don't
wow.
know.
Okay, I don't know.
I had a really good question, but I forgot it. Anything you can think of? See, I didn't cover.
I don't know. Just yeah.
I had something good.
Does anyone have answers that they want to ask?
Let's see what they got on here. Uh-oh. Where did my thing go?
Oh, price points. Price points. I think like kind of like not like having like a membership, but how much you should charge is important.
I feel like that's like location based. So California, New York, you might be paying 250, California 250, 300. And then I guess should be less usually
I
than
I,
other
I
like
think like I think when someone opens a gym, you should like kind of evaluate yourself and see what do you honestly like give yourself a true evaluation, see what are you worth and figure it out, right? And like don't like I wouldn't like go around schools asking like find out what they charge and what they charge and try to find a medium or try to find
Mhm.
like oh or like Alliance down the street is charging like 150, for example. And you're like, okay, maybe I should charge 150. Like don't get stuck in that. Like if you feel like you're worth more and you feel like you offer more and your school offers more, charge what you think you should charge. Right. So I so that because you don't the way like you don't eventually undersell your value in the long term because like you're like, oh, I think I'm worth like 175 a month, but I'm only charge 140 a month. And then like your school does really well, and then you have like 100 students in the first like year and a half, and then you're like, oh man, like I want to charge my students 175 now, but you can't just be like, hey guys, everybody, we're gonna charge 175 now because now I came to realize that I'm worth 175.
how do you determine your value though? See, like that's a hard one. Is it just purely based off your competition record or
Not
your
necessarily. I
social
think
media? Like, hey, I got 1,000 followers, so I should be able to charge. You know.
I think you just have to like think about like how much you know and what are you capable of doing and what you capable of offering and give a true like a like honest scale to yourself, even though it hurts, right? In some departments, and then use all that and look at it and like say, hey, what would I pay for someone like this, right? And that's how I think that should be done.
Mm,
Yeah,
I guess
and be
that's
honest with yourself. You know.
I guess that's maybe should it, do you think they should consult with someone on that? You know, hey, how much
Yeah,
would you pay?
and that too. You know, like, um, but yeah, I mean, like obviously that too. You know, consult, figure out what people are charging and just don't what I'm pretty much saying is don't undersell yourself, you know, and don't oversell yourself.
That's pretty rough. See, I don't know what
Yeah. Because like people know like let's say if
is.
I was like a blue belt and or like if I was like a purple belt and I just had a lot of money, I'm like, oh, you know what, I'm open with school, you know, and I'm not that great. And I charge like 190 a month. And then someone like you move to area like, oh, I'm looking for a school, you know, and then like you come in and train, you're like, oh, like it's really 190 a month, you know, and it's like you know better, you know
Hopefully,
what someone's worth.
but new people are so easy to fool. You know, that's why there used to be like more fake black belts and stuff. Like, they didn't know. They're like, oh, I guess this stuff works. I don't know.
Even though you form like the beginners guys, eventually they will find out. They will go train at a different school, either when they're traveling or they get invited by friends to train at a different school, and they come back, they're like, oh shit, like I'm
But
paying.
that's why you don't let them do open mat. See, you just keep them in your program. Hey, don't train nowhere else. don't,
Yeah, no with that, you can't cross train. No cross training.
don't look on YouTube.
Like guys, tomorrow I'm like, hey guys, you guys cannot do that.
Your instructor is like 30 years old with a red and black belt. You're like, how did he get that?
But people know eventually you can't trick someone for so long. The truth will come out.
Here's some questions. See, I got a few comments.
Yeah.
Jose Alvarez says, would you suggest a majority owner of a company, I guess, as a majority owner of a company, going behind your company's back and opening a competing business?
Yeah. Good thing about that. Yeah. Um, yeah, that's so yeah, that's not coming you have to tell the person up front that you open a school. So that's a guy, that's our competitor down the street. You put me on blast, put me on blast. But he's what, so he is he's our competitor down the street from Crazy Baha.
Mhm.
But he's saying, he's accusing what I did. I told my ex-partner that I'm opening a school down the street.
Is
And
this the guy?
yeah, this is the guy. Yeah.
Oh, he's trolling us.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
dang, I'm
you
sorry.
want to know the truth? The truth is, I told my ex-partner that I was opening a gym. There's no surprise about that. I told him that he wanted to be partners more and that I'm opening a gym down the street. And I will let you know when I sign a lease. And then we can kind of figure out how we want to sell the gym at that point. So there was no going behind anyone's back opening a gym. He knew full well that I was going to open a gym, and that's why he partnered up with Gracie Baha, which is fine. They were
Mm.
ex-partners, but I guess they came back and partner up. So yeah, there you go.
Oh, I didn't know this guy was trolling us.
No problem.
Yeah, I should have. Hey, don't come on
Like,
my channel
if
trolling
you're
me.
opening a gym, like, if you're split, let your partner know upfront. There's because you're gonna open a gym down the street anyways. So it's not a big surprise when it happens.
Here's a slightly more positive one.
Mm-hmm.
We love the kids program. Henry has grown in confidence in all parts of his life from working with you. Oh, it's one of your students. See,
Oh yeah. Well,
Christian Mims. Does that sound familiar?
yeah. So hey, Christian.
Um, Diana Elderman said, I've trained with men and they are great. They know how to tone it down, but challenge you. C is great at matching people up and making women feel comfortable. You heard that, C?
Yep, yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, we still got to figure out how to get more girls in because, there's not a lot of girls in jiu-jitsu. It's just not. There's growing.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, most schools are usually just all good dudes from what I've seen. Here's another one. Man, all your students on here, C.
Oh, so guys.
Being Ellie's dad says Professor C is an amazing coach with an amazing gym, and he doesn't promote guys just for signing up into a contract. That's what being a successful gym is, and not a cookie cutter gym.
Guys, you hear that? Cookie cutter.
Yeah, cookie cutter. He also said, I prefer gyms that don't promote guys to brown belt for owning the gym. Team Dome makes you earn every stripe, work hard and not play hard. Oh, dang, we got shots fired in the comments. Oh, shots fired in comments.
Guys, calm down. We're not trying to start something. Good luck to them down the street. Hope they do well.
Mm-hmm.
We're focused on doing our own thing. So
Such a nice guy, see. I be starting shit. All right. I just came
no,
back from New Jersey, so
yeah, so they do have Sean. Sean is a good he is a good coach, kids coach. So if you guys obviously try both gym out if they have good try both gyms. So anytime you join a gym, try all the gyms areas, see what best fits for you. Each gym has their own different atmosphere, but I can attest that Sean McMorrow is a good kids coach instructor. So give them a try if you guys in the area too, and give us a try. So yeah.
You're a good guy, see. It's just better. At the end of the day, it's better. No drama, man. Josiah Baker said, Coach C is it has been great to train under and learn from, not only in BJJ, but also in business. Josiah Baker, I think that's his name.
Mm-hmm.
And he also said, go ahead, C.
Yeah, it's just Baker, yeah.
He said, I'd say the best part of Coach C's gym and business is he truly makes you earn it. No belt promotions just because you've been a member of X amount of months in his gym. Your students love you, see.
I always complain like, oh, coach, they don't complain, but they make it like it's like an inside joke, like, coach, don't give stripes away. I do give stripes, but I typically get sometimes, and but I don't give them out easily. They do earn it.
We're old school, man. It's just like that's how it was. Like they don't realize the grind of getting belts and like getting your butt kicked, and you go compete all the time.
Yeah.
It's just
like we did belts out of lines. We did not belts. We did stripes out of lines. Like we did stripes, but it was like we never saw the stripes, right? So
I never got a stripe.
Man, Jeffrey
from
forgot
black
about
belt.
me.
From white to black belt, I never got it.
But it's just he doesn't do stripes, but he knows when you're ready, and when you're ready, you're ready. So like at brown belt, like yeah, I got a stripe. They start doing stripes. I got stripes. Like, oh, cool, first stripe. And then for the next 3 years, I just never got another stripe, you know.
Oh yeah, man. Oh
I mean,
yeah.
you know, so yeah.
I feel like people, I mean, I always say don't care about the belts, but on if you go on Reddit, people always talk about the belts. Like some people are just motivated by belts and stripes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just something we got to deal with.
Yeah, I think it's good because people see the progression, you know. Some
But I mean,
people,
your progression should be you doing better in the role.
yeah,
It
but
should
you
be
know,
you.
there's people who are like more like visual and they see that and it's easier for them to work towards something, you know, like not like everybody's different, you know. So for me, it didn't matter for me. I just kept working. You know, other people need that, so I see the both sides of it, but I try to be good on that.
And I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't give nothing away. You're not getting nothing from me. No stripe, no belt. Anything else you can think of? See, I'm trying to think of anything business wise. What are some things you need to work on in your business? What are some of the tasks that you need to improve on?
Oh man, you know, since I'm doing myself now, um, just like you just say, I'm like listening to YouTube videos every night, like figure out how to do certain things, like you know, how you file your taxes, how you should do it, you know, make sure you pay your taxes, make sure that you're on top of things that you don't owe money at the end of the year, have a good CPA, um, and just be on top of like everything, you know, even though like I think I learned from last gym was like I didn't want to deal with the financial side, which is fine, you know. Not, I mean, looking back in hindsight, I think I should have been more involved so I can learn because, like, after the split, you know, I could have picked up some stuff that I could have carried on, you know. So I think, like, even though you're not in charge of that, just be aware, like, what's going on with everything. So now I'm more like in tune with all that. I'm like keeping up with all the business sides of it. If I don't know anything, you know, I'll look it up, YouTube it, call friends that are like already doing it and ask them questions, you know. And then hire, like if you have any like if I can't get an answer, I just you know hire someone that can like a CPA, you know, that can answer your questions for you and stuff like that. So having being really in tune with that and budgeting is really important, you know. Like you don't want to spend at the end of the month you can't pay your rent, you know. Yeah.
Get pay that rent, guys.
I think that's last year. The last year, like I think I learned a big part of it from my partner. It was like he was really good at handling money. And like for me, I wanted like a lot of nice things for the gym, you know, like all the benches and all the
Mm,
like the accessories for the gym, like having like nice showers for the gym, you know. Like I wanted like off the rip, you know. But you know, my partner was like, hey, you know, we shouldn't do that right now. Kind of like let's plan for a save for it and then have it, right? And at first, like, oh no, we need it. But then like it worked out really well, you know. And so I learned that from him. Like with now gyms, like right now we have like not nice things, but then I want a lot more nice things, like a lot more Theraguns for the members to use.
mhm.
Um, more stuff for the workout area, you know. But those things are not necessary at the moment, you know.
That's pretty awesome. Though. That's pretty awesome. See,
But yeah, so like once we generate more money, we have those nice things for the members, like nice, you know, like do nice things for like give them gifts and the birthdays, you know. I don't know, like just nice things for them. So because at the end of the day, like um without them, I wouldn't have this, you know. So
here's something important for martial arts school owners. Uh, let's talk a little bit about affiliation stuff and also like your own promotions. So a lot of students don't understand that black belts have to be at a certain level to promote students, you know.
mhm. Yeah, so so say one question, what was
Affiliate like how to affiliate and register your school so you can promote students.
yeah. Um, so with Alliance, I was able to affiliate with them, you know, and register them to compete and stuff and promote. So I can only promote as a black belt up to brown belt for now. And then I think what IBJF is what 2 stripes as a black belt until you can promote black belt. Is that right, Alec?
Bro, it might be 3. We need to check on that. It used to be 2.
used to be 2. I know that, but now,
They might have pushed that to 3. We'll see.
yeah, 2 was like a couple of years ago, like maybe like 5 years ago, and then I think it might be 3 years now. So like 9 years as a black belt before you can promote a black belt. So I think I don't have to worry about that for in the future. But if that's the case for you guys, you need to bring in a black belt. That's well, if you want to follow the IBJF guidelines, you need to bring in a black belt that's qualified to give a black belt
Hmm.
for you. So, but yes, you just promote. Like I think you can find it on their website and you can kind of read about it. I don't know exact requirements. I know for a black belt, white to brown belt, right, Alec? You can promote at black belt. You gotta wait to like 3 years or 9 years.
It's supposed to be. It's someone there. Look at the website, guys. ibjj.com or org or whatever.
Yeah.
Here's a question. Jeff Music just said, he says, how do you assess a student that moves from another gym, and are you hesitant to promote them?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Yeah, yeah. I think for me, it's like when you give a belt, right? The student earn it too, but it's also a bond that you have between the students, right? You and the student, you help that student grow. You know them personally. You kind of know as much as you can about them, and it's meaningful when you give them a belt. So when you have, if I have a gym, if I have tomorrow a kid came in that's already like a blue belt, but he's like should be like high of a purple belt. I'm not gonna promote him right away to be like, hey, he's my purple belt. I need to get
Hmm.
to know him and build a relationship with him and have him train with me for about like 6 months before I can promote him, even though he's ready. There's a lot of gyms that the students come in and then they train with him like, oh, this guy's like, he's ready for the next belt. They just slap him a belt.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's fine if you want to do that. But I think I'm traditional. I think like I feel like I should know that person, get to know him,
Hmm.
build a relationship, and give him the belt. And it's more meaningful, you know. Um, yeah, and that's actually a good question because like that happened and someone's like, are you gonna promote that person? I'm like, no, I'm not gonna promote him tomorrow because of that. But yeah, that's a good question. But that's just my way, how I would do it. But there's people that they just, hey, like here's a blue belt, you're my blue belt or you're my purple belt, and like and then like maybe they want to be seen like they built that guy up to purple belt, but really the guy came from different school.
Hmm.
And then maybe they want to have more color belts at the school so they can look good. But
No point in being a blue belt if you're still rolling like a white belt, though.
yeah, yeah. Because if you give that person a blue belt and they're not ready, the person doesn't really know if he may know, he may not know, but let's say he doesn't know, and then he goes to a different school and like the white belts are smashing him, and they'll go like, oh, like why is my professor giving my blue belt? And like I went to school and like there's like 10 white belts that beat me.
Yeah, I've seen that a few times.
Yeah. So like guys, like just don't give belts away because you want to grow your program. You want to grow your program, but just don't. I don't know. It's kind of weird, right? Like it's their gym. They do what they want to do. That's just my opinion.
You get a belt.
But
You get a belt. You get it.
but when they go to like high level school and they'll see the difference. And
They don't go to high level school though. They stay in their little.
yeah, or stay your own academy and be the best. I don't know.
How do you
But
feel about like the schools that only do self defense and like they just don't roll and
I, I think that's fun too. Because at the end of the day, it's their business. It's what they wanted to teach. And I think they're aware of that too. So I think, like I said, like just stay in your own lane. If that's what you want to have, and that's when you can teach, then teach that. And if someone wants to go train with you to learn that specific stuff on that side,
Mhm.
then that's cool. But if they want to go like do both, like learn to compete, like they want to compete and learn self defense, and you can't like put them to the next level, but then you're like, oh, I'll teach you how to compete, and you're not specialized in that area. Then that's
Mhm.
a problem, right? But if you understand, like, oh, I want to do self defense only, and if the students want to come do self defense, then self defense, that's cool. I think that's fun. I don't think
I feel like a lot of schools they use that just to keep people from rolling. So like if I'm say I only teach self defense, you never have to roll with me, so you won't know if I'm actually good or not. I could just bullshit. You know, like some of these videos with the guy and you're like, this dude's terrible. But then like that guy's got 1 million views.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's a little rough out here, guys.
yeah. Yeah, I really appreciate like one thing I really appreciate when I go to academies is rolling with the instructors. We don't have to roll like hard and like show who's like the best, but like it's nice to like, oh, like I want to go here because I heard he's good. I want to roll with him. You know, like you can go floor roll, you can do like 50%. But it's kind of weird when the instructors don't want to roll with you, you know, like or with the students, you know.
You could do that self-defense. Self-defense school.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, see, I think that's good, man. We did a good
Mhm.
job. Had some good feedback. Little drama in the chat room, but otherwise pretty good.
Yeah, no drama, guys. No drama. This
I didn't know who anybody was. So I was like, oh, reading this, and then like, see, you're like, I know who that is.
Yeah, everyone in Gainesville that trains in Gainesville and anywhere are welcome to come to train here with us. No problem. I don't care if you're from a different team. I don't care if you're dropping in and wearing your school gi. You know, if you're dropping in.
No, they need to wear their team dongi.
But if you guys are dropping in consistently, like every now and then, just wear like a black blinky. But you know, but anyone's welcome. I don't care. You know, whatever's going on. So.
See, I need a gi. I meant to.
Oh yes. Oh, when you going?
What do you
When
mean? I already got back.
Oh my God, you're supposed to
It was only no gi though.
oh,
I
okay.
wore the shorts.
Okay. I'll send you a gi and a rash guard.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were just telling me when you left. I didn't know.
I think I left the next day, bro.
Oh my God.
Because we did a seminar. I think I left like Tuesday.
Yeah, you did. You told me.
So
Man,
I was like I was stressed from the seminar, and I was like, oh, I got there, and I was like, I'm super stressed now.
yeah, I've been stressed like and not stressed, I've been so busy like lately and like I barely have time.
You've been stressed since the summer.
Yeah,
See your stress level just
like guys, like one more thing. If you guys ever want to open a school, it's a scary thing. And there's a lot of things there's a lot of what if and that. If you already thought about you want to open a gym, just go with that instinct and go do it. You know, figuring out how to do it will come when you're just in the process of doing it. So don't be afraid to like not do it. So like just do it and it will be worth it. Because if you don't do it, and then by the time like 2 years later, you're like, oh, I should have done it. You know, it may be too late. You may be at a point in life where you're not able to do it anymore. So if you have that ambition, just go do it and just believe in yourself and just keep moving forward. Whatever's in your way, you know, go over it, underneath it, around it. You know, like Cabrini saying, can't go through it, go underneath it, go above it, go around it. You know, there's always a way around something.
Yeah, I gotta go.
And if you cannot, you know, if you feel like you can't do it by yourself, you have people that love you and care about you that will help you on the way. So you never do by yourself. Okay. So just do it. That's my advice.
Here's a good question, see, to finish. I didn't mean to cut you off, but like, should people wait until they get their black belt to open up a school?
Um, that's tough. Um, I think at least minimum a brown belt. Right. Nowadays, a minimum a brown belt. If you're a lower belt, you know, hire someone to teach. You know, I guess a black belt will be doing it right because there's so much competition nowadays. It's hard to progress if you're not like a black belt or like a high level brown. So just think about that. It's not you can do any belt club you want. You know, it's your life. You know, it's your money. You believe in yourself, do it. You know. So I'm not the one to say that you can't do it. So
white belt out there is going to believe in himself and open up a
oh
school.
no,
See?
no white belt. Your money.
See, said I can do it.
But yeah, I like like just think about like consult your friends, your instructors, but just don't be like what do you call it? People like just do something right away, think about it for a long time before you do it.
All right, see, that's good, man. You look tired. Look like you're about to pass out. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Alex.
Appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely. Okay.
And let me close out this chat real fast. Yeah, it's kind of cool to do it live.